What sort of world do we live in? Do we even know what shape it is? If you look at maps, it all depends on what map you're looking at to the shape of the world or the shape of your country and its position. You know, in this day and age, with the technology we have, we can't get an accurate map going. It seems very interesting. So many excuses for we have to stretch it or what. Why? Why can't we just map things the way they are? We can't do that. We don't have that ability yet, or I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Is the government really acting in your best interest? Are you the person that they're looking after, or is it big business? Is business the one that the government's really looking after? Are the governments here for us? We're told so, but do you really believe it? When you look into it, it seems the government doesn't have anything in our best interest whatsoever. We're just here to be controlled and organised into slavery. That's what we're here for. So I'm just going to pick out a few points that you can go and research for yourself and come to your own decision about these sort of things. But really, us as people, we really need to stand together and get a proper system going that looks after the people. Okay. Taxes. Let's have a look into the taxes. Are the taxes fair? Are the taxes in the people's best interest? Who is tax suited for? Who wins from taxes? Who loses? Well, as you can see in the photo here, it's individual people. They're the ones holding taxes up. There's no big business down here holding taxes up. As a person, you pay income tax, which will be worked out on a percentage, could be up to 45% of 95 to 100% of your wage, your total income, total revenue. All the money coming in you'll get taxed on, a percentage, up to 45%. And then whenever you spend that, you'll pay a goods and services tax of 10%. And then heaps of taxes on top of that. Fuel tax, supposed to go to the roads. Your rego goes to the roads. Any big road built now has a toll on it by a private company. We're paying for our roads 3 times. And it's ridiculous. We don't even have infrastructure in the roads that can support the cars on the roads in cities. So why do we get told so often, where are these roads? So as a person, you pay the percentage of tax you would pay from your total wage for the average Australian would be quite a high percent. Quite a high percent. When you look at small to medium business, they just get taxed on their profits. Only profits, not their total revenue, just their profits, and that's taxed at a flat 30%. Yeah, that's right, lower. To start with, lower than people, and only their profits, not their total revenue. That's a massive difference. A massive difference. So business has got the good end of the stick here with taxes. And it's easy for them. If they got too much profit before the end of financial year, buy new toys, blow it. Do whatever you like, expand the business, you'll pay less tax. So their tax is quite easily falsified, if you like, because it's only on the profit. What about even bigger business? Multinationals. How much tax do they pay? 0. Pretty much $0. The most of them. And it's easy for them. They just open up an office in a country that doesn't have taxes and run it at a loss of whatever profit it makes of their businesses that make money in taxable countries. And so their company runs, any profit that's made in a taxable company shifted to a country that doesn't have that's so-called running at a loss. So, it's the taxes, do they seem fair? Why have we allowed this to happen? Why do they get taxed on total income? Why don't they only get taxed on profit like business? After their mortgage, after they've put food on the table, after they've, done all the errands and everything that's involved with, living and raising a family. Why are we screwed down so hard, and yet business has so many less taxes? So much more profit to be made in business than in actual people. And in big business, when you look at where it goes, it's all overseas. It's not even going into Australia. Is this good for Australia? Is it good for the people? It's not even good for the government. Why do they push for this? Who is more important? The people of this country? Or other countries' big businesses that are just trying to get a profit off us? What's more important, or what should be more important to our government, do you think? Us? The people of the country? Or another country's big business that'll take all our profits over there? Not pay any tax to our government, yet our government pushes for these big businesses. Why? You have to ask why. What's going on behind the scenes? What are they getting out of it? The country's getting nothing. The government's not getting taxes. The people are getting more pressured into slavery, minimum wage, more hours. What benefit do politicians get from giving everything to big business? Another way to look at it, when you look at the selling of public assets, the lotteries. They had no overheads, made massive amounts of profit. Every year made, an unbelievable... Look into how much money the lotteries make, and look at the price they sell it for. Whoever bought it got an absolute bargain, and they're just rolling in cash for the next years. Why didn't the government keep it? Why sell it? So they could tax the people more to make up the revenue. What about telecom? Oh, we needed more competition, drive prices down. We got higher prices, less reliability of the network. And it's in all infrastructure. You look anywhere around the world where the government's selling off infrastructure. Never has the service improved, never has the prices gone down. It's not so the government can get tax off them, because they don't pay tax. You look at they're talking about selling the power industry off in New South Wales. Another country's government wants to buy it. Why doesn't our own government? Look at the revenue it makes every year, and look at the price they're selling it for, like a year and a half's worth of revenue. They're going to sell it off. A year and a half's revenue, they're going to sell it just to get the money instantly. They don't have to wait a year and a half for it. This is crazy. Sydney Water will be next sold. For no benefit to the country, no benefit to the government. What is the individual politician benefiting from doing this? Look into the federal government's incentive for state governments to sell infrastructure. The federal government giving the state governments money to sell infrastructure. What benefit is it to the federal government? They get no taxes from it. Makes the people unhappy. The people get ripped off. What benefit do they get from it? Why do we let this happen, people? Why don't we stand up to these crooks? Talking about selling stuff off, look at the fractional reserve banking system and how our whole financial system works. How the first money that ever came into existence under this scam was a loan, with the promise to repay it with interest. How can you pay all the money in the country back with interest? You have to keep borrowing to pay it back. The whole system works on debt. The whole system is based on debt. the banks want us in debt, the government want us in debt, or the financial system collapses. We have to be in debt, owing to everyone. It's the way the whole system works, and it's the biggest sellout you could imagine. Look into it. You don't even have to go that far. Look into normal banks, what they can do under a fractional reserve banking system. You look at the sort of money they have and play around with now and the profits that they make. How is this able, just off holding our money? Is that all they do? Or can they now just give out loans without actually having any money to back it up? Is that what it's in the title? Fractional reserve banking system. They hold on to like 15% of a loan. So you loan $100,000, they've only really got $15,000 of it. Yet they make it up on your computer system, a bunch of numbers in a computer system. There's no actual currency in existence or anything for that. They've just created that money from nothing. 85% of loans is created in a bank. Just new, I don't know what you can call it, well, new money. Have a look at how much currency is in circulation in your country and just look at some of the figures from these banks. Like ANZ with an operating income of 10 billion. How much actual printed money do we have in a country? This is just one bank. I'm not talking about business or anything, one bank. How much money, printed money, do we have in circulation? And how much money is on the books of all these banks? How many times more money is just in a computer system than what we actually have as currency in printed paper or coins? It's unbelievable. And how can the government let banks get away with this? Just ripping the people off. Look at where the banks get their profits from. Where are they getting all these profits from? From home loans, charges to small bank accounts. That's where it all comes from. They're not making this money off the businesses. They're making it off the people. Same as taxes. People hold up the taxes. People make all these profits for the banks. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Look into the Trans-Pacific Partnership and how much more power that'll give business. So at the moment, business has more power than people, really. They get taxed less, have easier laws around them. They're allowed to lie, and as a person, we aren't allowed to lie to a police officer. As a business, you're allowed to lie as much as you like, as long as someone doesn't sue you. So, and looking at what this Trans-Pacific Partnership is going to allow, give business more power than governments, put businesses on top of the world, which they have been for years. We've just had the wool pulled over our eyes. It's crazy. It's crazy for someone to come up with this idea to start with, to think that we are all such idiots to fall for it. But when you look at all the things they've got over us in the past, they just try a little bit more each time. And when you look at the stage we're at today, how are we so blind to this? How do we just let this happen? A handful of people just selling us millions of people out, and we've just let it happen. Going, well, what can we do about it? It's a handful of people. We're millions.